The moon cast a blood-red hue on the Chun estate that night. Silence draped the air like morning silk, but beneath it seethed something volatile gush. Something that had long been restrained in Chun Yung-kook. He sat in the war room, drenched in shadows, a ghost of mercy wiped from his face. On the screen before him, Dongwoo's face glowed beaten, pathetic, and shackled in the old underground cellar that once belonged to Chun's interrogation chamber. The very place where traitors had begged. The very place that knew the true sound of the Chun legacy. Vengeance. Yoongi entered quietly. Yoongi. He's ready. Jungkook. I'm not. Not until he begs the way she did. Not until his bones break under the same pressure. He put on her ribs. He replied, voice cold enough to frost the air. Namjoon, calm and calculating, leaned against the steel wall. Namjoon, the others are secured. Jaewook's estate is cleared. All evidence has been gathered. Your move, Jungkook. Hoseok grinned with no warmth. Hoseok, let's make history remember this night. The interrogation cell. 2:03 a.m. Dongwoo's face was swollen. His wrists bound tight above his head. His feet barely touching the ground. Every breath he took echoed with a rattling wheeze. Jungkook walked in silently. The room thickened with menace. Dongwoo whimpered. Dongwoo. Please. I didn't know she was your... He cut off when Jungkook punched his jaws. A brutal punch split his lip. Jungkook's face didn't change. Jungkook. You didn't care. He gritted his teeth. Dongwoo coughed blood. Jungkook. Do you know how it feels to have your baby sister flinch? When you lift your hand to tuck her hair back? Jungkook whispered venomously. Jungkook, do you know what it does to a man's soul? When the person he searched 4 years for screams in her sleep? Because you taught her the world is pain? Yoongi stood with arms crossed, watching. Yoongi, don't kill him too quick. He deserves to rot in his terror. Yoongi smirked creepy. Jungkook picked up the branding iron. Its end still glowing. Jungkook, you branded children like cattle. Tonight, I return the favor. Dongwoo's screams echoed, but no one flinched. Bison, Jaewook's estate, the mansion, once golden with wealth, now bathed in the red light of fate. Jaewook stood on his balcony, champagne in hand, unaware the Reaper had arrived. The doors burst open. Namjoon went first swift. Clean shots took out 2 guards. Hoseok followed, slicing through the hall like wind. Yoongi moved like a ghost, already ahead. Jungkook moved last, the calm before the storm. Jaewook froze as he turned. J-wook. Chun-wee had a deal. We shook hands. Jungkook's smile was thin. Jungkook, you gave me poison in a golden goblet. You put children on a stage. You put my sister in chains. J-wook. I didn't know she was. Jungkook, you knew she was a child. That's all that matters. Jungkook shot the champagne flute out of his hand. Jungkook. No more defenses. No more excuses. You showed the world what darkness looks like. I'm here to show it what retribution feels like. Yoongi leaned against the piano. Yoongi, we're cleaning house tonight. Everything, Hoseok growled, top to bottom. Jaewook fell to his knees. Jaewook, spare me. I'll give you the network. Passwords. Names. Everything. Namjoon, we already have it, he said. Holding up a flash drive. Jungkook raised his weapon. Jungkook, then you're of no use. The shot was cold, precise. Jae-wook's estate was set ablaze, a signal to every corner of the underworld. The Chun name was no longer just feared. It was untouchable. The auction system collapsed. Every buyer was hunted. Every record leaked to police and rivals. Chaos reigned, but in it justice was born. Back at the mansion, Jungkook sat alone in Annie's room. She slept, curled like a kitten, unaware that the world had been reshaped for her. Yoongi entered silently. Yoongi, you all right? Jungkook nodded. They're gone. Every last one. Yoongi sat beside him. Yoongi, and yet your hands are shaking. Jungkook stared at them. Jungkook. She screamed in her sleep. For days. I couldn't breathe knowing what they did. Yoongi, I placed a hand on his shoulder. Yoongi, but now she sleeps peacefully. And we all will make sure she always does. Namjoon and Hoseok appeared in the doorway. Namjoon. The mission's done, he said. But the journey just started. Jungkook looked down at his sister, eyes soft. Jungkook. Let her never know the weight of our sins. Let her never carry our scars. Hoseok smiled. She won't. Not while we live. And so, in the quiet of the Chun mansion, vengeance ended. And love began. Their prince was home. His princess was safe. And the kingdom, once drenched in shadow, had found its light again. The Chun mansion had seen blood, power, silence, screams. But nothing had ever unsettled its core more than the quiet, heavy presence of a child. A fragile little girl with big hollow eyes, always clinging to the black jacket of Chun Jungkook, the Mafia king. Jungkook had always been a storm. Ruthless, dominant, precise. But now, he found himself tiptoeing around like the floor was made of eggshells. And at the center of it all, curled up like a porcelain doll wrapped in one of his old hoodies, was his baby sister Ina. Jungkook sat on the couch with Innie on his lap, sitting clutching his coat. Sleeping, but still flinch whenever he moved even a little. Jungkook. She hasn't smiled once, he muttered under his breath. Yoongi sighed beside him, arms crossed, watching the child sleeping. Yoongi. She hasn't even blinked properly in hours. I swear she stares through me. Hoseok. Because you look like a serial killer, he said while balancing a tray of warm juice bottles and sweet buns. Hoseok. And she's lived with real ones. Let's not forget that. Namjoon adjusted his glasses. Namjoon, she's just scared. The best thing we can do is not be terrifying. Jungkook rubbed his temples. Jungkook, we're Mafia heads. We don't know how to not be terrifying. Hoseok. Namjoon looked at Jungkook with nervous look, while Yoongi held the same expressionless face. Then we learn, Yoongi said, and walk somewhere. Hoseok, try this one. It's shaped like a bear. He crouched down, holding up a bent rice ball with seaweed eyes. Ynie. He stared at it like it might explode. It's cute, he offered, waving it in front of her. Her little hand reached halfway, then flinched. And returned to Jungkook's hoo. Their eye. Hose. Okay. Never mind. Abort. Hoseok sat back down, dejected. Namjoon looked at Hoseok while giving him. Watch me look. Namjoon put socks on his hands. Namjoon. Hi, I'm Mr. Bunbun, he declared in a squeaky voice. Yoongi. I blinked at him. I regret being born in this room. Namjoon. Shut up. Look, she's watching. he whispered. Jungkook sat on the floor. Ini curled into his side. Her wide eyes flicked to Namjoon's sock puppet. Namjoon, would you like to play? Mr. Bunbun asked. Ynie blinked slowly, then slowly turned her head into Jungkook's chest. Namjoon dropped the sock. I tried. Oseok fall on the ground holding his stomach, seeing Namjoon give up. Yoongi brought in a remote control car with a teddy bear strapped to it. Yoongi. Look, he said. It moves. The bear jolted forward at a concerning speed, hit the leg of a chair, and flipped. Ynie. He didn't move. Yoongi turned off the remote. Yoongi, I'm not cut out for this. My reputation's dying. Hoseok sat with his head against the wall. I made duck-shaped pancakes, they didn't even get looked at. Namjoon groaned. Namjoon, we're trained killers. How are we losing to a 7-year-old's trauma? Jungkook hadn't said a word in half an hour. He just held her hand and stared at her bruises, the cuts, the swelling near her ribs that Seojin had checked twice. Namjoon. Because it's not a fight, he finally whispered. They all turned. It's not a fight, he repeated. It's a promise, and we're failing at keeping it. The living room was a mess of crumpled drawings. Uneaten snacks, and exhausted Mafia elites. Jungkook sat on the floor, his sleeves rolled up. Dark circles under his eyes. Ini leaned against his arm, silent, her thumb between her lips. Jungkook, Ina, he said softly, stroking her knotted hair. Jungkook, I don't know what to do. I've run cities, silenced traitors, ruled empires, but I don't know how to make you smile. Baby, I don't know how to make you feel safe, how to make you feel like you're not with anyone unknown or harmful, but with you, brother, with the prince you were waiting for. Her eyes flicked up. Jungkook. I'm trying, he said, his voice trembling for the first time in front of her. Jungkook, I'm trying so hard, but you don't have to show. Not if it hurts. Just stay with me. That's enough. Ini looked at him, small fingers gripping his pinky. Ynie. I'm scared, she whispered. Jungkook's gaze fixed on her trembling figure as he heard her first time saying something. She screamed. She shouted. But that all in her dream. Not with Jungkook, but with her inner self. Jungkook composed himself, trying not to make her uncomfortable. His throat burned. Jungkook, I know, baby, he whispered, looking at her. Ynie. I don't like loud people. She looked at him while saying, Jungkook, I'll make them whisper. He softly pecked her forehead. Ini, I don't like shadows. Ini didn't flinch with the touch, but she got courage to say more. Jungkook, I'll put lights everywhere. He said without even wait for a second. Ynie. I don't like new places, she said, looking at him as now what Jungkook will say. Jungkook then will stay in your room forever. Opening parenthesis. Jungkook smiled. He is ready to turn the universe inside down. Her voice cracked. Ynie. Don't go away. She sobbed, now slipping towards Jungkook. He pulled her into his lap, kissing the top of her head. Jungkook, I'm your safe place now, he whispered. Jungkook, and I swear on everything I am, no one will ever hurt you again. Jungkook swear on everything he have. Ini, just have to say a word, and Jungkook will do in a heartbeat. Ynie. should have known her place in Jungkook's life, in Jungkook's heart. And Jungkook will make sure to show her. Later, that night. Yoongi, I walked in with a blanket and stopped dead in his tracks. Jungkook had fallen, asleep against the headboard. Innie curled up in his lap, their hands still tangled. Namjoon whispered. Namjoon. Is she smiling in her sleep? They looked at her in wonderland. She is, Yoongi whispered back, setting the blanket down. Hoseok wiped an imaginary tear. We did it. We did nothing, Namjoon muttered. Jungkook did. Yoongi nodded. The Mafia king changed. And from that night forward, the mansion was never the same. Not because it lost its power, but because it found its heart.